So we'll go back into again section 2, which is usually the interpretation section. Most acts, if not all, have an interpretation section at the start. That's where they get to actually change what words mean into their own defined little categories. So it's not English, it's legalese. It's been given a different meaning. All right. So yeah, in the Crimes Act, we'll look at Crimes Act 1961. Section 113, fabricating evidence. Everyone is liable to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 7 years who, with intent to mislead any tribunal holding any judicial process, which section 108 applies, fabricates evidence by... So that's if you're in court, okay? It's when you're doing a judicial process. So if you're in court following due process of law, not if they're not fabricating any evidence out in the public, or by telling the police officers. That's more of a making false statements. Okay? So, you know, if they've gone and gouged out the politician's shoulder or something, well, then they would be fabricating evidence, because they would be trying to say that we caused that injury, for instance. Just hypothetical there for you. Then we go into section 115, conspiring to bring false accusation. Just as a side note, a few of my mates and other subs have told me they didn't like the auto reader. I hate fucking reading. So I usually just start the auto reader and play it again and again, and that way I get to take it in. There's no way you're going to get everything in the first round. And even playing it when you're asleep, you still take in these things. So anyway, conspiring to bring false accusation. Now this is if the two of them got together and had a little chat. I'll let you guys read that one. It's only small. Then we've got section 116, which is conspiring to defeat justice. Everyone is liable to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 7 years who conspires to obstruct, prevent, or defeat the course of justice, or the course of justice in an overseas jurisdiction. So New Zealand and elsewhere. 145, criminal nuisance. Everyone commits criminal nuisance who does any unlawful act or omits to discharge any legal duty, such act or omission being one of which he or she knew would endanger the life, safety or health of public, or the life, safety or health of an individual. Everyone who commits criminal nuisance is liable. Word liable means upon conviction, for a term not exceeding 1 year. Okay, so if you think you're liable for your speeding tickets, you're innocent. Until they find you guilty in a court of law, proving beyond a reasonable doubt, which they can't do 99% of the time, that you were the actual offender, or the driver, then you're not liable. And again, liable, look in the interpretation of the acts. It says liable means liable upon conviction. Right? Maintain your fucking innocence, people. Section 192, aggravated assault. Everyone is liable to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 3 years who assaults any other person with intent to commit or facilitate the commission of any imprisonable offence, such as assault, or B, to avoid the detection himself or so he wants to hide their identity. C, to avoid the arrest or facilitate the flight of himself or herself, or of any other person, commission of an attempting. So, you know, a couple of them have stepped in and tried to stop me from arresting a guy. They could also be done. Crimes Act 1961, Section 196, common assault. Everyone is liable to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 1 year who assaults any other person. So it's just 1 year prison term, not 3 months or $2,000 or $4,000 fine, as is in summary offence. Crimes Act 1961, Section 201, infecting with disease. Do I look healthy right now? I'm not going to show you the box of tissues, but I'm not. Section 201, subsection 1, everyone is liable to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 14 years, who willfully, without lawful justification or excuse, causes or produces in any other person any disease or sickness. Jacob got right up into my face and told me to move. I didn't approach him. When he came round the side of me first off and came round beside Paul, me and Paul both saw him reaching down to go for the PA system again, which is when I interrupted and he first dealt with Paul and then talked to me and then did the whole I'm going to walk through you routine, which was caught on 3 cameras. The one inside the van catches him belly bumping me right up into the van the first time round. That is clear assault. Okay. Section 236, and this is for the police's benefit just as much as it is for all of the other viewers, which I'm sure I have a few subs of them too. Next thing you know, there'll be a memo around warning you all to unsub. Moving on. Section 236, assault with intent to rob. You know, I did say he was, going to steal someone else's property, but in hindsight, what chance would he have had to try and rob that? Snatching my phone would have been a different story. But as it was a PA, I don't think he would have got very far. Not with those legs anyway. Crimes Act 1961, Section 269, intentional damage. I'll let you guys read that one, but it's 10 years, intentionally or recklessly destroys or damages any property. Ought to know that danger to life is likely to result. So that's, danger of life. Or 2, everyone is liable to imprisonment term not exceeding 7 years, intentionally or recklessly, without claim of right, destroys, damages. He had no claim of right to it, wasn't his. Anyway, that's section 269. Moving on. Section 315 of the Crimes Act 1961, arrest without warrant. 1. No one shall be arrested without warrant except pursuant to the provisions of this Act or some other enactment expressly giving powers to arrest without warrant, which would be the Summary Offences Act. Section 2. Any constable and all persons whom he or she calls to his or her assistance may arrest and take into custody without warrant. A. Any person whom he or she finds disturbing the public peace or committing any offence punishable by imprisonment, such as common assault and willful damage. B. Any person who he or she has good cause to suspect of having committed a breach of the peace or any offence punishable by imprisonment, which he did. And stuff it, you can read the rest. My print is getting a bit out of tone, so it's a bit difficult to read it. Section 316, however, is very interesting. I suggest people look at this one a bit more, because this is the duty of the persons doing the arresting, okay? It is the duty of everyone arresting any other person to inform the person he or she is arresting at the time of the arrest of the act or omission for which the person is being arrested, such as Section 9 of the Summary Offences Act 1981, or Section 11 for willful damage, 9 for common assault, unless it is impractical to do so, or unless the reason for the arrest is obvious in the circumstances. Pretty fucking obvious. The act or omission need not be stated in technical or precise language, but unfortunately, Jazz Conda, for know-it-alls like me, you betcha I'd be saying it verbatim. Honestly, when people give me flack, don't they realise that they're giving me shit because I'm right on target? And they just don't like that sort of, I might appear obnoxious. Well, fuck you. I don't really care. That's your issue, not mine. I'll act within the law, and I treat others as they wish to treat me. Those are sort of my golden rules. So everybody has the benefit of the doubt until they come along in their little man-child leagues and start attacking PA systems and my friends. So, yeah. moving on. It is the duty of everyone who arrests any other person pursuant to any process of arrest. A. If he or she has the process or warrant or a copy of it in his or her possession to produce it that require... No, I don't have a warrant because it would be one without a warrant. If he or she does not have the process or warrant or a copy of it in his or her possession at the time of the arrest, to show the arrest person as soon as practical after the arrest, if that person, that would be something for the constable to do. And then you've got section 3, or subsection 3 of section 316 of Crimes Act, where under any enactment any person other than a constable has, by virtue of his or her office, a power of arrest without warrant, he or she will, whenever he or she arrests any other person pursuant to that power, that would be for like a warden or a court security officer or something like that. 4. A failure to fulfil any of the duties mentioned, well, those are duties for officers. We'll try section 5. Every person who is arrested on charge of any offence shall be brought before a court as soon as possible to be dealt with according to law. So they don't fuck around, they've got to put you in front of a judge. 5A, the obligations under section 5C, if the person is released following the service of a summons under section 28 of the Criminal Procedure Act 2011, another excellent read. I suggest people go and read these things. Criminal Procedure Acts, Criminal Disclosure Acts, Summary Offences Acts, Crimes Act, Summary Proceedings Act. There are lots and lots of acts out there, and especially you'll find any lawful instruction will have the legislative reference. You know, no trespassing under section 4 of the Trespassing Act of 1982, for instance. I think that's it. And so on. Or might be section 2. Anyway, I do go on, don't I? So, I'm going to flick up a whole heap of pictures here that you can, again, pause at your leisure. When you're finished, just stop the video, but I'm all for giving people information, for people exercising their rights before they bloody well lose them. I have no disrespect for police at all. Again, treat everyone as they treat me. They were being nice. Aaron was being a bit lippy. I got a bit lippy back. The first time round, when I came around the corner and caught them all having a chat, I was heated still. You know, I'd watched these cops all driving past, and yet the 111 operators, you know, I thought that was why you call 111 for an emergency, because the people that assaulted me were still in my fucking presence. You know, the lady wanted to know what direction of travel they were going. That sort of thing. But again, they were responding to man-child's 111 call, not mine. They had had false information and they responded because of that, which made us the defendants and not the complainants, as far as they were concerned. I would say that nobody bothered to even check, that I'm aware of, about my 111 call, or that I had already given my details. So yeah, unbiased and impartial, fair. You know, any constable that might have a confusion, section 22 of the Policing Act 2008, the oaths there. Anyway, end of this for me. It's a half-hour long vid. I'm probably going to break it up into a couple of sections halfway through or something, just so it's easier for you all to watch. I hope you're all doing really, really well. No officer in charge has been assigned to it as of a couple of days ago, or yesterday when I rung and asked them. I also rung to give them the price of the damaged property. So we'll see what happens. I'm expecting them to do a full investigation, to look through the video and go and charge a few people with common assault, or 2 people at least with common assault, and 1 person with full willful damage. There are other people I know of that also recorded. Hopefully I'll get in touch with them and get that footage as well, because their angles might be really, really helpful in this matter. Alright guys, catch you later. Bye now.